Phineas and Ferb is an original cartoon on Disney Channel, created by Dan Povenmire, that guy who used to work on Family Guy, and Jeff Swampy Marsh. What isn't known about the series is that both creators widely hate Disney monopolizing it, and that the show's original concept goes beyond just a normal children's cartoon. Once, an episode about Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz's real intentions was produced, secretly, by a good part of the staff, who ran the risk of being fired without thinking twice. Even some of the original voice actors were involved. The episode was eventually leaked by an anonymous user who uploaded it on a little trendy cartoon forum. That day, my computer was doing an annoying noise like if it were ready to break down. My brother insisted me to examine it, or the CPU was going to literally burn up. Anyways, I was browsing this online forum when I discovered a post about an unreleased episode of Phineas and Ferb. Curious, I clicked on a download link included by the poster. I had some time to download it before having to visit my grandparents' house. We got back at around 1 a.m., and as soon as I got home, I started the episode. And, as expected, my computer kept making that hideous noise. The episode was titled The Horrible Death of Phineas, and according to the summary, this was an alternative episode to the one where they're finally caught and sent to Camp Smile Away. The episode began as usual, with both Phineas and Ferb having Isabella's troop help them modify their family car into a flying machine. Also, Ferb was building an airport tower for the car. This time, a huge crowd is present to witness the completed masterpiece. Meanwhile, Perry is called upon by Major Monogram to fight against Doofenshmirtz. Monogram tells Perry that Doofenshmirtz is planning to destroy the entire tri-state area by using an atomic bomb, and that he must be stopped. When Perry goes off to battle Doofenshmirtz at his headquarters, the Doctor explains that he's truly fed up with being treated like an imbecile, and plans to kill everyone by detonating a nuclear warhead. Suddenly, Doofenshmirtz drew a pistol and opened fire against Perry, who was forced to run away because he couldn't fight someone holding an actual weapon. The gun was real, as it made holes in the lair's walls and ceiling. His escape followed with a rather demented and cruel, red-eyed Doofenshmirtz who had an enraged expression on his face. I was completely shocked by the overall depiction of him. It appeared as if Doofenshmirtz had finally gone mad. Doofenshmirtz chased after Perry during a short sequence, and he is almost killed, but luckily manages to avoid the shots. When they reached Phineas's backyard, Candace and Ferb's invention, as in every episode, is apparent. Soon, Phineas walks towards his mama to show her the flying car. However, in that exact moment, Doofenshmirtz opens fire, and Perry dodges the bullet. A slow-motion sequence plays as Doofenshmirtz accidentally shoots Phineas. When the bullet hits him, everything turned monochrome, as Hide-and-Seek by Imogen Heap played. Phineas was now lying in the lawn, but with a pool of blood drawn in the habitual Phineas and Ferb style. The video goes back to color when Phineas was in the lawn, and it's noticeable. A bright red puddle of blood. The crowd glares, horrified at Doofenshmirtz, and the scene cuts abruptly after showing Phineas lying in a puddle of his own blood, staring at the sky. It was here that Act 1 ends. Act 2 started with a funeral, and now everything seems extremely depressing. The mortuary was mostly black and stained glass windows, which enlightened the room, but were a depressing monochrome tone. Candace, Linda, Lawrence, and Ferb all looked very forlorn. The Explorer troupe were lamenting as well, and the camera focused during 2 insufferable minutes of Isabella crying inconsolably. It sounded real, as if Isabella's voice actress was actually crying while filming the episode. Candace, in extreme grief, regrets about this while furiously hitting Phineas's coffin, crying that this wouldn't have happened if she didn't try to catch them. Act 2 cuts abruptly to black. Act 3 begins with the text, 2 days later, on which Phineas's house is seen from the outside, but it's cloudy and gloomy. Candace is in her room, extremely stressed, with a rigid smile and hanging a rope on the ceiling, while humming the Beatles song, Yellow Submarine. Soon, Jeremy enters Candace's house through the backyard and goes into the kitchen. After offering his condolences to Linda, he asks for Candace. Linda happily tells him that she's upstairs. But when Jeremy enters her room, he sees with horror that Candace has hung herself and died just a few minutes ago. Jeremy takes down the corpse and passionately kisses it. However, when Linda enters to see if everything is all right, after seeing this, she screams, "Jeremy, how could you?" thinking that Jeremy choked her to death. After that, it cuts to a scene where both Phineas's parents, Ferb, Isabella, Baljeet, Buford, Doofenshmirtz's ex-wife Charlene, Vanessa, Major Monogram, Carl, and Perry, are inside a state prison with Doofenshmirtz strapped to an electric chair. All of them have twisted and sick smiles, with the purest, unhealthiest, sadistic joy. He begs for mercy, but Major Monogram simply orders to proceed with the execution. Perry, smiling in a sick and morbid way, switches on the chair. And right before his death, a sequence of real photos appeared on screen. They depicted a man wearing a lab coat and a little girl playing in a park. Although the actors didn't resemble Doofenshmirtz or his daughter, Vanessa, they clearly represented them. After that, the last thing he sees was Vanessa kissing passionately with her mother. It was so incestuous that I nearly vomited. Doofenshmirtz finally dies in a brutal way, electrocuted on a slow, lethal voltage to lengthen his suffering. At the end, Ferb simply states, "Irony is cruel, but not as much as hell." The episode ended with Doofenshmirtz's lifeless body being thrown on a pile of decaying corpses, among with Jeremy's fresh corpse. The next morning, I looked again for the episode. Google showed that, among other undesired results, the same forum. However, the user was banned, and the file, possibly, no longer exists.